Believe it or not, but this is a true combo if you can react fast enough to your opponent's movement. I'm C5 from the Beefy Smash Dudes, and we're gonna look at the so-called Ge0 Combo and how to optimize it. But first we have to finally talk about BSD Pokemon. We teamed up with Hibiki, a close friend who plays professional Pokemon tournaments and makes awesome Pokemon videos, from showing off certain teams to competitive guides of specific Pokemon. If that sounds like something you want to see, check out the Beefy Smash Dudes Pokemon channel. You won't be disappointed. And now back to Smash. The Ge0 Combo is named after Smash 4 player Ge0, who first discovered it. Ge0 then made it popular and also helped us with this video. It consists of a down throw into a footstool followed by a fast fall down air, which will reset your opponent at low percent. Remember, they cannot tag on the ground after they got footstooled, and if a move with low enough knockback hits them right after falling to the ground, their character is forced to stand up. A lot of times this is the optimal combo to go for, but what next? We wanted to find the best possible thing you can do with Diddy after getting the early reset. Against a lot of characters, you can actually continue the combo with a neutral air into another footstool, into a fast fall neutral air, and so on. If your opponent moves towards the ledge and the eyes outwards on the last nair, you can finish the combo with a down air to finish the stock. But this combo does have its restrictions and is very hard to pull off. The hardest part is following your opponent after the footstool, but it is possible to react. It's also important to know that your opponent can't DI the neutral air through Diddy Kong. If you hit them on Diddy's left side, they will either get launched straight up if they press right, or a bit to the left if they press left. The same counts for the opposite side. Knowing this makes following with another footstool much easier. Usually you will want to go for the Ge0 Combo at 0%, but depending on the character it can also work at 5 or even 10%. This is perfect for Diddy since his banana is an amazing tool to get the grab in the first place. If you want to add a little extra damage to the Ge0 Combo, you can go for a down throw into a smash side B kick before following with a footstool and the usual down air. This will not work against very floaty characters since they are too high up after the side special. It also won't work if your opponent DIs away, so it's kinda risky but pretty flashy. If after one Ge0 combo the percent are not yet high enough for the neutral air to footstool combo to work, you have a couple of other options. You can either go for another Ge0 combo, but instead of a down air at the end, you land with a neutral air and go directly into the footstool nair loop. You can also go for a landing neutral air into a full hop up air and a footstool before going into the nair footstool loop, since the up air will launch your opponent higher up, which makes a follow up after the footstool at low percent easier. If and at what percent it all works depends mainly on two factors: fall speed and weight of your opponent. The combo works best against mid to heavy weights that are a bit floaty but not too much. Against lightweights, it only works at very low or 0%. The heavier a character, the longer the footstool after the down throw connects. But much more important is the fall speed. Against most fast fallers, so characters with a lot of fall speed, the footstool to down air doesn't work because they land on the ground too early. King Dedede is a special case, which I will get to later. On too floaty characters, the combo also doesn't work, especially if they already have a few percent, because after the footstool they won't land on the ground in time. DI can make a small difference. If your opponents DI away, they are closer to the ground. If they DI towards you, they are higher up. Also interesting is that some characters have different time windows they can get locked in. Apparently this is even dependent on whether they land on their back or their front. So against floaty characters with too high percent, there's really not much to save the Ge0 combo. But against fast fallers there are some options. Let's forget about the super fast fallers, Fox and Greninja, they are special. But against the other fast fallers you can go for an up throw first instead of a down throw. Follow with a footstool and a down air as usual. After that, the nair footstool loop still won't work. So instead, you do the same thing I mentioned earlier. Land with a neutral air, up air them and footstool. Now you can either go for a standard down air and finish the combo, since their percent will most likely be too high to get locked again, or you hit with the sour spot of the down air. On the sides of Diddy Kong's down air, there is a sour spot that deals less percent and knockback and can lock your opponent at a bit higher percent, but it's pretty hard to hit. After that, to finish the combo, you can just do whatever you want. But the follow-up that deals the most percent is pulling a banana, dashing towards them and instantly using the up B, hitting both explosions. Note that if your opponent DIs away, they can tag on the ground to avoid the second hit. The sour spot there can also come in handy against non-fast fallers if you think that their percent are too high for the regular dare to lock, but still too low for the nair footstool loop to work. Add the 7% with the sour spot down air and go for the nair afterwards. Now, I was mentioning King DDD earlier and that he's a special case. He is one of the fastest fallers, but the Ge0 combo does work pretty well on him. Why is that? Well, besides weight and fall speed, there is actually a third property that plays a role here: gravity. Gravity in the real world and in the game describes the acceleration towards the ground. But different from the real world, in Smash 4 not every character experiences the same gravity. It varies between them as an attribute. So the lower a character's gravity is, the slower their acceleration. Usually, gravity is closely linked with fall speed, but in some cases, like with DDD or Lil Mac, their gravity is pretty low while their maximum fall speed is really high. And that's why the Ge0 combo works well against DDD and Lil Mac, even though they are fast fallers. Because no matter how fast you can fall, if it takes you forever to get that speed, it will take a while until you land on the ground. And that's also why it's so hard to pinpoint exactly against which characters and at what percent the Ge0 combo works. Add rage and staling to the mix and it basically becomes a guessing game. If you want to get a feeling for when the combo works, you will need experience and a good sense of Diddy's moves. As a general rule of thumb, you should avoid going for it against fast fallers, and the floatier a character is, the lower their initial percent have to be. We would love to see this more often in tournaments, since it's super flashy and often the most optimal thing to do. As always, thank you for watching and check out our Pokemon channel if you are interested. See you soon and stay beefy!